Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
And welcome back to another edition of Issues in Education. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight the issues that matter most to our public schooling families with the one and only Dr. Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute. Ralph, welcome back to the program. Sir, good to have you with us today.
Thank you, Bob. You challenged me that if we can cover all these topics in 5 minutes, that'll be good. So I'm going to warn you now, my answers are going to be brief. So
Okay.
Be ready for that.
You got it. If anyone can do it, it's Ralph. We'll go as fast as we can through it because there is a lot to discuss today. I want to start off with an event that happened last Friday in Erie County, New York, and get your thoughts on that. After the Pledge of Allegiance, a lot of students there ceremoniously got up, took off their masks out of protest, what they consider to be an infringement on their rights, a government overreach when it comes to some of the pandemic policies there. Do you think that's the right message to be sending when COVID is surging in that part of the state?
Well, there's nothing wrong with students, I think, protesting. Apparently it was like 15 minutes. They did some good things, including singing the national anthem and chanted "Free Our Face" at one location. The problem with it is Erie County executive continues to say that you're entitled to your own opinion. You're not entitled to your own facts.
Yeah.
Masks work. The problem with that is I would remind him that it wasn't that long ago that the facts were supposedly, if you're fully vaccinated, you're all set. So I think in the case of the students, they were, as far as I know, well controlled. There could be some good conversation come out of that in classes in terms of the whole topic of civil disobedience, and I don't really have any problem with it.
Another big story in New York State and as well in Pennsylvania, because they're dealing with this too. We all witnessed that tragic school shooting in Michigan, and unfortunately there have been several threats made over social media since then. Don't know how much of this is the copycat effect, but it has caused a lot of schools, Olean, Batavia, Lockport, to lock down. Lockport was locked down for several days, going to remote because of these threats. Is this just a case of the copycat thing, Ralph, or is this something else?
I think it really is copycat. What schools need to do is let it be known, as some of them already have, that the police are actively investigating these issues. They've got some people that are already under arrest. That's the way to handle it, is to let people know that if you engage in this kind of behavior, there are going to be consequences.
Yeah, and so often it just snowballs. One district does it, and then you see more and more having to deal with this, and nobody finds it funny. Other schools that were closed, Clyde, Savannah, Brockport, for another reason, they don't have enough bus drivers. We've been talking about this forever. New York State is taking action to allow teenagers to drive tractor trailers. Might we need to go that far, Ralph? How do we get ahead of this growing problem, the shortage of bus drivers?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to have my child on a bus with a teenage driver. Those are not easy to drive. You could have 50 young lives at stake. I don't think that would be a good idea. But we certainly should continue to support people who are interested in any of those jobs to contact their local district and see if they can be involved in that. Finally,
a big announcement last week, the resignation of SUNY Chancellor Jim Malatras. A lot of us saw this coming, and this, of course, has to do with the Andrew Cuomo saga, which never seems to end. How much does his resignation create chaos for SUNY, which I think is the largest public university system in the country?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot of chaos. The chancellor's position is from 30,000 feet above the system, and I think there are good people that work within the system that they'll continue to function really well. I would say, though, that you're right, it's all tangled up with the former governor, and I'm concerned that there may be others that are going to be caught up in this as well, and if they have been doing things that were wrong, they should be caught up and, in fact, caught.
All right.
So I'm supportive of the action that we're taking.
All right, and that will have to be the last word this week from the God-fearing, Constitution-revering Dr. Ralph. How do you like that, Ralph? I just thought of that.
Wow.
Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute in Houghton, New York. Hey, if you got questions, maybe you'd like to become a school bus driver, there's information about that and other topics as well at your website, Sir Ralph. Where can folks find you?
They can simply go to yrun.org, yrun.org.